Welcome back to This Week. Assassinations were a big topic in Washington this week as former President Trump says he vows, if elected, to unseal thousands of documents related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. At the same time, lawmakers stood on the same rooftop a would-be assassin used when he tried to take former President Trump's life as Congress began its investigation of the assassination attempt on Trump.
Lawmakers toured the site where the shooting happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, and they said they had more questions than answers. Notably, why the area around former President Trump wasn't more secure. From the roof where a gunman came within inches of assassinating former President Donald Trump, members of Congress got a new perspective of the July 13th shooting.
We can get a sense of the area and just how close these buildings were to that stage where President Trump stood that day.
They're part of a bipartisan House task force investigating the assassination attempt on the former president.
But in the United States of America, you do not get to attempt to assassinate our elected officials and our candidates. It's unacceptable.
Body camera video from local law enforcement shows an officer saw Thomas Matthew Crooks on the roof with a gun at 6:10. Crooks started firing at 6:11. While the official task force looking into the shooting toured the site in Butler, Pennsylvania, some Republican members of Congress discussed the shooting at a D.C.-based think tank.
The building he shot from is outside of the perimeter. And the video we can see him clearly just a mere 130 yards away.
They questioned one of the members of the SWAT team who says he was on the scene that day. He says he felt unprepared.
So we really felt like we were on the back foot and just tried to overcome that throughout the day and gather what we could.
Now, 5 Secret Service agents involved in the planning for that event in Butler are now on administrative leave, meaning they can't take part in any investigative or protective actions. Also, the former director of the Secret Service resigned because of that shooting. In Washington, I'm Vinay Simlot.
It is certainly a conversation that we have been witnessing for decades. I mean, Congress passed a law back in 1992 to put to rest questions about the assassination, declassifying or making all of the documents public by 2017. Here we are in 2024, and there's still more than 3,000 that are either heavily redacted or confidential in their entirety. So you might be wondering why. National security concerns, essentially. President Trump has been speaking to a number of media outlets, and he said he released 50,000. Why he didn't release all of them is he said people who he trusted said it was a threat to national security, that it wasn't time yet. And you look at President Biden, he has made similar attempts. He basically left it up to agencies. This was back in 2022, so recently. Now we're hearing from candidate Trump. He said he will be electing a panel of experts to unveil all of the documents.
I am announcing tonight that upon my election, I will establish a new independent presidential commission on assassination attempts. And they will be tasked with releasing all of the remaining documents pertaining to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
And you saw on your screen there, late President Kennedy's nephew, RFK Jr., who endorsed former President Trump on Friday when he made the announcement he would be unveiling the remaining documents. But generally, the public knows about 99% of the findings from the Warren Commission. They painted a clear picture of what happened on that day in November of 1963. You do have that conspiracy theory, that sector of the population that argues that the CIA was aware of Lee Harvey Oswald up to a year prior to the assassination. Of course, the CIA denies that. That being said, you have conspiracy theorists, and you also have history buffs alike who say just release the remaining documents, and you can put a lot of those theories to rest.
And stay with us. This Week continues in a moment. Hope you're enjoying your Labor Day holiday weekend with your friends and family. Thank you for spending part of your weekend with us. That will do it for another edition of This Week. We hope to see you back here, right here, next weekend for another edition of This Week. Between now and then, you have a great week and have a great Labor Day holiday weekend.